Watch me ride.
Hey everybody, I'm going to talk about a kind of a unique problem we have going on around here. You know, a lot of people say to me, Spicy, you're always on the same roads, man. Why are you always on the same roads? Go a different way. And it's like, I don't think a lot of these people realise that I live on an island. And when I say I live on an island, I live on an island, as in a piece of land separated from the land. The only way on and off this island is over a bridge, which is one road. And this is causing a lot of problems locally because the population of Hayling is now something like 18,000, maybe more. And there basically isn't enough roads for all the people. The traffic here, as you've seen in my videos, is really bad. And it's got substantially worse in the past 5 years. I actually think the traffic got a lot worse when they reduced the main road speed limit from 40 to 30. Because it doesn't work as well, it doesn't flow as well anymore. And you know, you get these massive queues of people right up the arse of someone doing 30 because everyone else they just still do 40 because it's like, this is stupid. This is like the biggest, widest main road on the island. Not this one I'm on now, this is kind of the secondary one. It's actually over there, but they join together, so you end up having one road on and off. They want to build more houses here. They want hundreds of houses on fields like this. A perfect example, is that the geese? It is the geese, I think. Where's the seagulls? No, it's geese. The geese on these fields make these fields protected to a point because they're a rare species that has to be protected, so they can't build houses here. The locals don't want more houses built. The doctor's surgery can't cope with it. The roads can't cope with it. The infrastructure just can't. It's literally at its breaking point now, and they want to build hundreds of more houses. And there's all sorts of stuff going on here that basically people are like, save our island, don't allow them to do this planning stuff. But I don't think it ever makes much difference because I really do think that people in the council, you know, you have developers and you have councillors who make these decisions. And, you know, oh well, maybe if I pass you this under the table, maybe you should reconsider your position on whether we can build houses there. Oh well, in that case, actually, I think it's quite a good idea. Yeah, now I'm flicking through my 50 grand. Yeah, actually, it feels like a reasonably good idea. No, I'm not making an actual accusation that any of the councillors taken underhand bribes, but it is something that has been known to happen in the past in that borough. But there's a recent thing that's been brought up which is actually really funny. They're talking about building a second bridge. Now this is nothing new. We've got one bridge on and off. There used to be a railway, and I'll actually stop up there and I'll show you because this is quite interesting to sort of see if you can work out what they're going to do, because sooner or later the proverbial is going to hit the fan. One road on, one road off, one bridge at the moment. So if you make two bridges, you still have one road that goes to two bridges that goes back to one road. It's not going to improve the matter. You need the second bridge to be in a completely different direction. Now they've talked about building a bridge from the bottom corner of the island across to Portsmouth because it's only about half a mile, less than that. Problem is, it needs to be allowed for big ships to get through, dredges and stuff. Now to get that high, you have to start the ramp of the bridge really far back, you know, so you don't have like a really steep ramp onto it, so you have to start further back, and they found that that's really difficult and would be super expensive. There was a suggestion of tunnelling underneath the earth. Now remember something here, under the sea, sorry. There's only 18,000 people that live here, roughly. Why would they spend tens of millions of pounds to do any of those things? Other end, in, out, that one, idiot. Where was I? Yeah, why would they want to spend these tens of millions of pounds on developing the access to this island? Because there's very little to really offer people. I mean, there's no nightlife on the island. It's mainly full of old people. There is nothing to do if you're a kid. I mean, if you're a kid like me, it's amazing. You know, you've got beaches all around you, you've got fields and stuff, you can go and explore and look for animals, and that's what I used to do. I used to love living here. I've never been a particularly social person, like, in the sense, I like being social, but I don't like going downtown and stuff, because basically it's full of fucking idiots, generally. So this is the one road off. There is another road that conjoins it from that side, but it all leads to one road. Right. Okay, so you probably can't see, no, they're underwater. There's these concrete lumps over there, basically. Because this is, if you might be able to see, that's a railway signal. Basically, the old railway used to go along here, along a path that still exists, where the bridge went across there and then it continued off that way. Well, since that was knocked down by, oh, who was it? Destroyed all the railway stations. Beecham? Is that the right one? Beecham? Baker? Beecham? I can't remember. Anyway, one closed lot of railways in the UK. And they closed that, and then they built houses where it ended that side. So you can't reinstate that bridge, plus you'd have to destroy what's already there that's probably being protected for posterity. And our current bridge is that one there, which I'll be going over in a minute. But that thing, if you ever go underneath it, the concrete's cracked. They know it because it's got a lot of marks and a lot of telltales that you put on cracks to see if it expands, it like breaks them. You can do it in your house. If you've got cracks you think are expanding, you can take like a piece of tape over it. Or what do they use? Tape, sometimes it's hair, and basically if it gets pulled apart and it snaps, you know it's moved. One of the things they were thinking about doing was doing a park and ride, and people were suggesting that this car park here, which as you can see on a Sunday afternoon is already full, would be suitable for the car park to park and ride. Oh, if they just knocked down these few very old pine trees. So they'd, what, double the capacity to about 40? It's honestly, I'd love to know how these people get these jobs, because it's like they have no common sense. Like, that's not going to work, mate. I don't even need to go and spend, you know, 10 grand for some person to come down here, measure it all, and then tell me I'm wrong. Well, tell you it's not going to work. I can just tell you, mate, that ain't going to work. You know, look, it's just, it would double it. And there's a bloody great big hole in the middle here, which is part of the drainage system that we kind of need. But the other thing is, that will flood when the tide's really high. Okay, so this is the bridge, the one and only bridge. So that road comes up as well, but as you can see, every road leads to this one, and this is the bridge. You can't build one that side really because it's got nowhere to go, and if it did go right parallel with this bridge, it would just join onto the same road anyway, and we would have the same problem. Yeah, sure, you'd have a single road in, a nice two bridges to take everyone through, and then it would go back to one road again, and you're back into clusterfuckery. You can't go that side because there's things in the way, and also it's muddy that side. There is a causeway they can build on, but it's not that wide, and I think some of that is triple SI as well. The simple answer is stop trying to develop this place. Look, those wires are for counting cars, because they're currently trying to argue that, you know, oh, there's plenty of space, there's not that many people on the island. In the summertime, it gets ridiculous. And so they're suggesting doing this park and ride thing, which, I mean, it could help a bit. I'll show you what it leads into in a minute as to why, you know, one road to one road's not going to, and two bridges in the middle aren't going to help. But if you actually think about this, that bridge we've got is in disrepair. Well, it's not in disrepair, but it's not in good shape. It's definitely not. It's old, it's been used a lot, and it's definitely got a lot of cracking going on underneath it. I know some cracking is okay, but, you know, cracking, bit of rebar gets exposed, that rust gets in, that runs round, that cracks, water gets in, freezes over winter, breaks more concrete off. And it's what happened to that bridge in Italy, the suspension one that collapsed, although it came down to lack of stays. It didn't have many fail-safes built into it, that bridge. But anyway, this is just a pillar bridge. But when that does break, what are they going to do? You've got 18,000 people living here, all have to use the bridge to get, well, not all, but a lot of them have to use the bridge to get on and off to go to work. What happens when they have to close that for repairs for 3 months? Or what if it gets seen to be unsafe? What are people going to do? Park your car off the island and then get a boat over every time? No, that's not going to work. I mean, they might be able to come up with some ferry systems. You can't have boats really taking people backwards and forwards on that side. Because simply, when it's low tide, you can't get a boat across. So the other option is, well, you get the ferry from Hayling to Portsmouth. There is a little tiny foot ferry. I've seen, mostly I've taken my bike on it a few times. That puts you into Portsmouth. But if you want to go to Havant, you're now miles away, and you've now got to get yourself back out of Portsmouth through all that crap, which is, again, doesn't run so well at peak times, or any time, to be honest. You can always have traffic up there. Now this road is the sort of road I think if they were going to have a second bridge, they should connect it to, because this one goes straight into the A27 to take to Portsmouth. But the bridge would have to be so long, or the road would have to go through so much stuff, they're never going to do it, because there's loads of houses, there's industrial works in between, there's infrastructure, because like here you've got a gravel works, big old factory, that's where all the dredgers basically come up and down, dump their load of gravel here and then go back out again. You've got, as I say, you've got an electrical plant here, and you've got the sewage works there. There's no way they can put like another road through here that connects to a second bridge. And I know all this is kind of pie in the sky discussion, because there is some suggestions of them building a second bridge in 2030 by 2032 to do with some regeneration. But as I say, why would you regenerate an area which isn't bringing you much more money? Oh, because you want to put a fuckload more houses on it. Because houses make money because you can sell the land. If you're a council, you know, planning permission, costs of the land, poll tax, well, poll tax, yeah, council tax, all of that shit. Apparently, interestingly, one of the reasons why our utilities in the island are not being, like, you know, the doctor's surgery and that are so underfunded is because we're on the border between West Sussex and Hampshire, and basically Hampshire, for Christ's sake, Hampshire County Council don't want us to be part of Hampshire County Council. They're like, no, you should be West Sussex. And it's like, well, the border is a few hundred feet in the middle of the sea away from Hayling. We're well within. So it's, apparently there is somewhat of an argument, like, no, you have them, they're not ours, have them. Like, no, I'm not having them, it's quite clearly yours, they're in your side, you tidy it. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of people are like, can I see a doctor? Yeah, okay, 6 weeks time. And the area as a whole, like, the hospitals can't cope. I can't go into details, but I've learned some things that mean that I reckon my injections could well be delayed to almost an indefinite, the injections being for my back, to an almost indefinite amount of time, that my back is basically going to be, well, it's been repairing itself, it seems. And I think with the amount of time it's going to take, by the time they offer me the injection, I actually get a date, I think it's going to be like, is it even worth it anymore, because it seems to stabilise? Would it be good to, like, help it, or would it be a bad idea to, like, piss it off? I think probably the expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, well, it is kind of broke, but if it is broke but it's not that bad and it's kind of sorting itself out, don't bother aggravating it more by sticking needles in it. Sorry, random side note there, but that's another thing to do with, like, what's going on around here. And I know I always end up in Tesco's, you say that, but it's because this place is within such a small area, this place and a couple of others destroyed every local shop we could go to. But admittedly, I like with buying stuff online, you know, they say you should support your local businesses, you should do that, this, that and the other. Yeah, I will support my local businesses, as long as they're offering me a good service to go with the money. But very often you find the shops you go to buy stuff in, it's overpriced, you don't know what they're talking about, and it's like, well, why would I bother supporting these people? But it's like, well, they're creating jobs, it's true, but then again, I suppose this place has probably created far more jobs than the individual little shops. Oh my god. Here we go. Oh, left my charger on, because I'm charging my headset. Okay. So, yeah, if you want to look at this where I live, it's Hayling Island, Hayling, Island, you know. And if you look at the north, you'll see the bridge, and you'll see you can see where the old bridge was. You can see all the options and where it needs to connect to the main infrastructure above and below. Well, above really. And you can see there's not really any options without destroying houses or going through the middle of protected wildlife places. I thought I'd just talk about that. It's a bit random, I know. But the thing is, you know, that bridge, needing work done to it to repair it, or it becoming unsafe, is an inevitability. It's going to happen. And if they don't sort something out soon, or before that happens, then we're going to have a huge problem. It's a very interesting sort of thought process. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and catch me next time. If you enjoyed this video and the other content on the channel, please consider following the links in the description to show your support.